Hello, YouTube. Okay, topic for the day. What do you do when you're faced with something that's hard? What do you do when things are challenging? What do we do? So, if a task is difficult, do we quit or do we keep practicing? If you're finding a task hard, what do we do? And this thought occurred to me today, and I wrote it in my journal. It's like, oh, well, if something's difficult, if something's hard, then we need more practice. We don't just quit, because everything's hard at first. Everything's hard. So if we just quit when something's difficult, then we never would have learned to walk. We never would have learned to talk. We would have learned nothing that we currently do. So I am suggesting that we need to keep practicing, which goes back to another video I made in my last newsletter topic about iteration and repetition, and we need to keep doing it. But this really struck for me today about the subject of some physical things, some like physically moving, that sometimes I find certain movement and certain physical things difficult. And of course, I can just feel bad for myself. I can just feel sorry. I can think, oh my gosh, it's because I'm bigger now than I used to be. It's because I'm older now than I used to be. But today I was like, well, duh. If it's hard to move, maybe I need to move more. Duh. If it's, if I'm stiff, if I'm sore, oh, maybe I need to move more. Maybe I need to stretch more. Maybe I need some more strength building. Like maybe my body's just not in the place it needs to be, but it doesn't have to stay where it is now. And this applies to all topics. So if mentally or emotionally you're having a hard time with something, keep at it, keep at it, keep at it, keep practicing, keep doing that thing. If there's a physical task that you're having a hard time with, keep practicing. Again, we're not going to get good at something until we have done it a long time. And that's not to say you may have some natural talent or ability, you may have some initial skill with something, but you're not going to get really, really good at it unless you keep doing it. So, there we go. When we hit an obstacle, when we hit a challenge, when we hit anything that's like, oh, this is hard, this is tough, this is difficult, either physically difficult or mentally or emotionally difficult, keep going. Keep going. Take breaks, yes. Do it kindly, yes. Do it compassionately. But don't quit. Don't give up. Don't quit doing that whatever thing. We gain skill over time. We gain mastery over time. There's just no way to get around the practice thing. You've got to practice. So if you're hitting a tough point, if you're hitting a challenging point, then that would also be a good time to do some movement. So if you're like sitting somewhere and you're feeling discouraged and frustrated, then stand up, move around, do some stretching. Stretching is always wonderful. Stretch. You can also do some tapping. So here, let's just run through a little example. So here we go. Even though, and I'm going to use my example, even though I get frustrated with my body sometimes, and what it can and can't do, I accept myself. Even though I get frustrated with my body sometimes, and what it can and cannot do, I accept myself. Even though I get frustrated with my body, and what it can and cannot do, I accept myself. I forgot the word for eyebrow. Frustrated with myself. I'm going to do both. I'm going to do both sides. You don't have to do both sides. I feel like it. Frustrated with my body. Side of your eyebrow. Frustrated with my body. Right on your temples. Frustrated with my body. Under your eye. Frustrated with my body. Nose, frustrated with my body. Chin, frustrated with my body. Frustrated with myself. Why can't I do what I did when I was 20 and 30? Because I'm not 20 and 30 anymore, I know. Frustrated with my collarbone. Frustrated with myself. Frustrated with my body. And under your armpit. Just below your armpit. Frustrated with my body. And you can throw on the top of your head if you like to. Frustrated with my body. And, oh my God, red spot. And I throw in my gamut spot because that's a good spot for me. Frustrated with my body. Stop, take a breath. So, I don't feel as frustrated with my body. Because it needs more practice doing whatever it is I'm trying to get it to do. You know, if I haven't been doing a certain activity, it's not going to all of a sudden be great at it. Just makes sense. So, keep at things. Don't give up. And there's also a time and a place to quit something. I'm not saying we should never quit anything, because sometimes we're done with something, whether it be a job, a hobby, a relationship, a friendship, you know, all sorts of things. There are beginnings and endings in life, and that's fine. But what I'm saying is, just because you're hitting some challenge or difficulty does not mean we need to quit. And it doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. It is normal to hit points of resistance and points of difficulty, points of challenge. That's really, really normal. Keep going. Take a break if you need to, but then keep at it. Go back to it. Keep at it. Use the tapping to calm down the spikes of, I hate this. I don't want to do this. And the tapping also helps to help you find clarity. It helps me find clarity. Often if my feelings are kind of jumbled or I've got this and that going on, if I do some tapping, then I'm like, okay. It centers me. It just feels like it centers me. The same with sometimes walking, stretching, doing some movement does the same thing. It's like, it just brings you back. We need to get in our bodies, not in our head so much, because our heads will spin us around and around and around, and that's not helpful. Okay, so there are my thoughts for today. Wanted to make a quick little video. So it is evening here. I'm heading home. Had a very full, productive day. Yay! I'll go get some rest and do it again tomorrow. Have a good evening.